Justin Jefferson is undoubtedly the best receiver in the NFL, but it's what he does when he doesn't have the ball that is the most impactful to the Minnesota Vikings. Let's talk about it. The Minnesota Vikings have the best receiver in the National Football League in Justin Jefferson, and it's something that they've had multiple times throughout their team's history. You could talk about Anthony Carter in the 80s. Outside of Jerry Rice, you could argue Carter was one of the best in the NFL. Chris Carter in the 90s, who set multiple NFL records at the time, including back-to-back seasons in 1994 and 1995 of 122 receptions. And then, of course, Randy Moss, who's arguably the greatest receiver of all time. And then you have Stephon Diggs, who was the top 5 receiver before he went to the Buffalo Bills, but finally got that recognition once he got to Orchard Park. Now, you have Justin Jefferson, who is the best receiver in the National Football League. I'll hear arguments for A.J. Brown and Tyreek Hill, especially because they have such different skill sets than Jefferson, but it's Jefferson. And I really don't think it's as close as people wanted to believe. And why is that? It's because of what he does when he does not have the football. And you have some, like George Pickens is a fantastic example of this. He'll take plays off. T. Higgins the other night against the Dallas Cowboys on a run play, just kind of standing there loafing around. Like, he's not necessarily being lazy. It's just kind of taking a play off. Justin Jefferson's one of those guys that's blocking down the field. If he doesn't get the ball and he sees Sam Darnold running, guess who's flipping his hips and blocking the corner? But it's the gravity of which Justin Jefferson has that's so incredibly impressive. We know all the catches. The catch the Bills. Joe Davis's famous call. Oh my goodness. Justin Jefferson pulls it in. Like, we've seen so much of that. And we continue to see his brilliant shine, the little nuance things, that touchdown against the against the Atlanta Falcons this past Sunday, where he just slightly angles toward the sideline before cutting in on a post, giving Darnold the perfect throwing lane for the score to be able to split those safeties. It's just little nuances that separate him. But how he pulls gravity from the defense is truly astounding. And with the Chicago Bears coming up, we can go back to the first game against the Bears, where they sold out completely to stop Justin Jefferson. We're like, we are not going to let Jefferson beat us. He only had a couple catches for like 29 yards, but he had 5 yards in pass interference calls. Those count. Those should honestly count toward receiving yards because of what they're able to, how they're able to really generate ball movement, how they're able to really impact the game because you're still moving the football and advancing it down the field. What he does is he will draw safeties and he will draw top corners. And that allowed Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson to both go over 100 yards in that game. And Aaron Jones went over 100 yards on the ground. 3 guys going over 100 yards. That's the first time that happened since the Dante Culpepper era Vikings. A truly impressive feat. But it's not just that. It's how defensive backs will react to him when he is in coverage. You can go back to against the Falcons, where Jordan Addison got called. He got a pass interference call on him. So what they're running is a double. They'll call it a double dover because it's deep overs, okay? And Jefferson is running the deep over going right to left. Addison is in the slot on the left side, and he's running just a route. He's arguably not even in the progression because his job is to clear that deep safety out, open space for Jefferson so Sam Darnold can drop the ball into a little pocket of space. Well, Jesse Bates doesn't stay deep. He crashes the deep over because he knows the gravity that Jefferson has. Guess what? Now you have Jordan Addison springing for a deep shot, and he uses phenomenal tempo, just slows down a little as the cornerback stacked, and then explodes right at the end to be able to catch the ball. It's something that he did at USC, and he's continuing to do it here with the Minnesota Vikings. Those nuances, that gravity is making such a difference when it comes to being able to spring guys open. Because one of the reasons why you build an elite group of playmakers around Justin Jefferson is because when he is being the sole focus of the defense, you have guys to be able to take advantage of it. TJ is a top 5 tight end. Jordan Addison is one of the best, if not the best wide receiver too in the National Football League. And you take a look at all these guys. How are you going to stop this team? You really can't. You have to pressure Sam Darnold with 4 guys and just get him to oblivion. We're talking 2017 NFC Championship game when the Eagles just destroyed Case Keenum. That's how you have to beat this team. And quite frankly, with how the offensive line is playing, you can't do that. Sam Darnold is eluding pressure at such a high rate. Slide step to be able to fire down the field. And Justin Jefferson's mere presence is like the gravity of Jupiter. He sucks everything in. And that opens things up for Addison, who could take advantage. He's had a phenomenal 3-game stretch of nearly 400 yards on 20 receptions and 4 touchdowns. That's not an accident. They are taking advantage of what the defense is giving them. And the defense is like, okay, beat us with everybody else. Well, guess what, baby? The momentum is coming and it's working. If you just try to stop Jefferson, we'll kill you other ways. That's the way the Vikings are approaching it. Or if you just secede, okay, Jefferson's going to get his. We're going to play normal coverage across the board. That honestly might be the best way to play him. But his gravity and how players react to him in space, in live reactions, it's incredible. It's like Addison and Hawkinson don't exist. It's like Justin Jefferson is the only player on the field. And that element could be a humongous factor in why the Minnesota Vikings make that Super Bowl run we've been so desperately craving for the entirety of the 64 years of the franchise. Is this the year? I don't know. We'll find out. But I'll tell you this. The gravity of Justin Jefferson is going to be the reason why this team is finally able to get over the top. I'm Tyler Forness with AZ Sports. Skol Vikings.